I think that we're living through the Bitcoin gold rush era. And I think the Bitcoin gold rush era started January 2024. And I think it runs until around November 2034. So it's about 10 years. And I'll tell you why. 93.5% or so of the Bitcoin was mined at the beginning of this period. But in November of 2034, 99% of all the Bitcoin that will ever be issued will have been issued. This 10 years is your best chance to get Bitcoin, right? This is the gold rush because this is the period where there's still a lot of FUD. There's still a lot of uncertainty. People still aren't sure. They don't understand digital energy. They don't understand digital capital. They don't understand digital property. That causes a slow growth in demand, right? Like demand is growing, but imagine how much faster it would be growing if everybody had spent 100 hours, right?
Despite its success over the years, Bitcoin still faces a lot of FUD, with critics voicing concerns about its energy consumption, price volatility, and suitability as a currency. This skepticism often originates from media and financial institutions. And according to Michael Saylor, this is exactly why now would be the best time to get Bitcoin. In a recent Crypto Nutshell interview, Michael Saylor, CEO of MicroStrategy and a prominent Bitcoin advocate, has emphasized this ongoing opportunity. During times of widespread skepticism and misinformation, there is an opportunity to purchase Bitcoin at relatively lower prices, as some investors get discouraged by all the negative misconceptions. Additionally, Saylor identifies the current period as a Bitcoin gold rush era, spanning from January 2024 to around November 2034, during which a substantial portion of Bitcoin can be mined, meaning this is the best time to gather Bitcoin while there is still enough supply. Every 4 years, new Bitcoins created decrease by half, making Bitcoin scarcer and significantly more valuable. This means that Bitcoin will be bound to undergo a supply shock, and it is only a matter of time before its price rises up exponentially. We will now show you a clip of Michael Saylor as he explains his valuable insight regarding this. As we share this clip, we ask for your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. Your interaction helps us continue providing valuable updates on cryptocurrency finance. We hope you enjoy the video.
I think this is going to be a good year for Bitcoin. I think we started out the year with the ETF approval, and that was a big milestone. I think that the success of the ETFs is another milestone. I think that the halving in April will be a third positive milestone. I think those three things are going to drive momentum, and I think all the marketing wars between the Wall Street firms is going to be positive, and I think the assets being normalized throughout the mainstream investment community. And so I think it'll just keep generating momentum from here. I think it's it's also worthwhile, I think, to make one point. I think that we're living through the Bitcoin gold rush era. And I think the Bitcoin gold rush era started January 2024. And I think it runs until around November 2034. So it's about 10 years. And I'll tell you why. Because 93.5% or so of the Bitcoin was mined at the beginning of this period. But in November of 2034, 99% of all the Bitcoin that will ever be issued will have been issued. And so that halving is very symbolic. People talk about Bitcoin, issuance coming out over the next 100 years, all the way till 2140. But the truth of the matter is, the last 100 years, you're only getting 1%. So think, and actually, of that 1%, 90 basis points of it is coming in the 12 years that follow 2034, and then it's 10 basis points, 0.1%. But practically speaking, all of the block rewards are de minimis starting in 2034. It's 1% over 100 years may as well be nothing, because the daily volatility and the daily trading volume is going to render that to be somewhere between third order, fourth order, fifth order of magnitude. So that being the case, really, this 10 years is your best chance to get Bitcoin, right? This is the gold rush. because this is the period where there's still a lot of FUD. There's still a lot of uncertainty. People still aren't sure. They don't understand digital energy. They don't understand digital capital. They don't understand digital property. There's a lot of debate in the community. Is Bitcoin a currency or is it a property? Or, there's massive debate. And a lot of people say, well, it's a currency, and since it's not legal tender, or because it doesn't move fast enough, or I can't buy coffee with it, it's not a good currency. So there's a lot of confusion in the crypto community. There's a lot of mainstream regulators. They think it's currency. So you see bankers say, oh, it's a currency, but it's not a good currency because I can't buy coffee with it. I can't buy things online with it. And it's too volatile. And they think that's a criticism. And so they criticize it. And then people that think that they know what they're talking about, they hear some famous person say, well, Bitcoin is not a good currency, and or the government will ban it, or it's not as good as the dollar or something. And so they get afraid. And they say, well, then I trust that guy, so I'm not going to buy it. So a lot of people are criticizing it for the wrong reason. A lot of people misunderstand it, and that creates lots of chaos, misinformation, stupid, misleading stories in mainstream media. It creates like bad takes on Twitter. It creates all sorts of confusion amongst Wall Street analysts. And so all of that fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and just basic confusion, and then misunderstanding, that causes a slow growth in demand, right? Like, demand is growing, but imagine how much faster it would be growing if everybody had spent 100 hours, right?
Understanding Bitcoin is important if you want financial freedom, and Michael Saylor emphasizes this point strongly. The widespread lack of knowledge about Bitcoin's benefits just shows that many are missing out on its potential. Saylor states that, just like all the technological advancements throughout history, such as the invention of the automobile or the internet, Bitcoin will be as successful. And this is why he is urging everyone to learn about Bitcoin. Saylor implies that those who grasp Bitcoin's potential early on stand to gain the most. Therefore, learning about Bitcoin is a strong invitation for anyone who wants to make the most out of its opportunities. Let's now take a look at more clips of Michael Saylor as he shares his powerful message to the world.
There's $900 trillion of wealth out there. There's only $1 trillion in Bitcoin. So 99.9% of the money, of the wealth, is not invested, right, in the asset class. So a lot of people that don't understand what this is have a lot of money, and yet we've got a 10-year period when there's going to be an explosive increase in education, right? As Bitcoin's going to go up, and as the price goes up, more people are going to get asked, and they're going to reject. They're like, stop asking me. I hate talking about this. Like, we don't like it because it's like gold. It doesn't generate cash flows, or they don't understand. If you don't understand perfect money, right? What's wrong with gold? Gold has emissions. Gold is inflationary. That's why it doesn't work. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand why digital gold is better than gold. So you don't understand Bitcoin. You don't understand money. And then you haven't really thought very deeply about property theory or capital theory. So you definitely don't understand digital capital, which means you don't understand digital energy, which means that when someone asks you, you're going to buy it, your answer is, of course I'm not going to buy it. I don't get it. If everybody read all these books, if they listened to all your podcasts, if they listened to all my podcasts, if they thought about it for a few hundred hours, tomorrow they would wake up, they would all buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin would be $5 million a coin. And then we'd be doing this podcast, and you would say, Mike, all the comments from all my followers are, is it too late? And I would say, well, it's too late for you to get insanely rich. You're not going to get 100x, right? If you buy Bitcoin at 50,000 when it's 5 million, you're going to be bragging to your kids that you got 100x your return, right? So it's going to be too late for that. But it's not too late to buy it, because it's still better to buy the thermodynamically sound digital asset, which doesn't have all of the liabilities of real estate, stocks, or bonds. it's still going to go up in value faster than the S&P index. It's still going to be a better after-tax return than owning sovereign debt. It's still going to be better than owning physical property subject to acts of God, force majeure, and all the other physical limitations. So it's still going to be the best investment. It's just not going to be the investment that got you the 100x return that you were going to brag about. And so there's no reason to worry, right? Or fret. You don't want people to figure this out, right? Like if they figure it out, you have 10 years during which you can work and you can buy Bitcoin while everybody else disagrees with you and doesn't understand it because they're intellectually lazy or they're a different generation, right? So we're in the gold rush period. People are, when they think about it, they're going to realize this is the period during which everybody in the world started to realize Bitcoin is digital capital, and there's a digital transformation of money, and that you want to hop on top of that. You want to exploit that, and there's 1,000 ways to do it. Maybe it's just work really hard at your job and buy Bitcoin. Maybe it's start a company. Maybe it's do something different. You decide, right? But I don't ever regret any stacking I did. I mean, we bought Bitcoin, below 10,000. We bought Bitcoin probably above 60,000. I mean, at the end of the day, we never know when the world wakes up, gets rational, and then it runs through the all-time high, and then we regret not having bought more. I would encourage anybody that thinks maybe I'm too late. I mean, I think I would say, well, maybe you just haven't studied this enough, right? You don't give me your money if you're not confident. Give me your time, and if you don't want to invest the time, maybe you don't care about money that much. It must not matter to you that much. If it matters to you, then you spend enough time to figure out whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. And there's plenty of information out there for you to come to your own conclusion.
Michael Saylor's main message is clear. Bitcoin is a big opportunity we shouldn't ignore. He's urging us to take action now and learn about this digital currency. It's a call to get educated, get involved, and make our mark in the new era of finance. Right now, the price of Bitcoin hovers around $57,000. Many expert analysts and notable figures in the financial space speculate that this will not be the end of Bitcoin's rise. Rather, it may only be a matter of time before this digital asset skyrockets even further. Robert Kiyosaki, the renowned author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, predicts that the price of Bitcoin will surge to $100,000 by June of this year. He bases his forecast on recent developments, such as the approval of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds and the upcoming Bitcoin halving. Kiyosaki has been vocal about his bullish stance on Bitcoin, also foreseeing declines in gold and issuing warnings about the US economy's instability. He advises investors to consider Bitcoin as a hedge against economic uncertainties and increasing government debt. Kiyosaki's prediction aligns with other experts' forecasts, suggesting a significant rally in Bitcoin's price post-halving, with some projections exceeding $250,000 shortly. With a finite supply and increasing demand, coupled with its decentralized nature and global acceptance, Bitcoin is bound to revolutionize this digital age. As more individuals and institutions recognize its potential as a store of value and hedge against inflation, the path ahead for Bitcoin appears brighter than ever before. Do you agree with Michael Saylor's insights about Bitcoin? How do you think Bitcoin's scarcity and increasing demand will impact its future price trajectory? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video if you found it insightful and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on cryptocurrencies and finance. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. As always, happy investing.